Hi guys, welcome. I'm the chef at the RCAF. Today we'll be preparing the entree, and it's a Buddha bowl with tofu and a bunch of healthy ingredients and brown jasmine rice. So we're here, we're going to be starting off the Buddha bowl. Step one is to get your rice on, because with brown jasmine rice it takes a little bit more time to cook. So we're going to get started. We have 2 cups of water. What we're going to do is just turn it on. We're going to get it to a rapid boil. And once it gets to a rapid boil, we have our 1 cup of brown jasmine rice, which is super nutritional. It has all the necessary irons and vitamins inside of it. So once it gets to a boil, what we're going to do is add our rice, and we're going to turn it down to low, put a lid on it, and set it and forget it, and let it sit there for about 25 minutes. And you'll know when it's complete, when all the water has been evaporated, and it becomes a little bit more volumized. So it becomes a little thicker and fluffier, and you can also taste it as well, which is good, and then you'll know if you like the texture or not. There you go. So we get going, it's boiling. Here we go. We'll give it a little stir. And let it go. Perfect. Hey guys, we're back here. It's going to be step 2 of the Buddha bowl. As you can see here, we have our cut up strips of tofu, which is a healthy soya-based protein, which has all your 9 amino acids and very healthy for you, and a substitute for protein if you're you can't eat meats or anything like that. So we'll get going. I've actually tossed it, marinated it for 24 hours in a garlic ginger paste. So it's got a lot of flavor inside of there. And so now what we're going to do is get a pan with a little bit of olive oil, something a little healthy. You can use grapeseed oil as well. And we're going to turn on the pan, and we're just going to crisp it up a bit, and just bring out the sugars in the tofu so it gets a little bit caramelized, and then it gets a little bit more textured so it has a little bit more of a crisp, and it can be that'll be sitting on top of our Buddha bowl, which will be nice. So we'll start cooking. And this is a great a Buddha bowl is not simply what I'm doing. You can essentially do anything you really want. It's our recipe that we created. You can use any type of different beans. You can use. We're simply using things that you have in your fridge all the time. So, but you can go out there and substitute any type of vegetable, any type of bean. You can add real protein if you want. You can add tuna. You can add. Really, it's endless with a Buddha bowl. And the thing with Buddha bowl is, you can eat it hot, or you can save it in the fridge and eat it cold and take it with you on a picnic or whatever it is. It still has that powerful nutritious value for it. So here we go. We're going to add all the tofu for it. You're going to see a sizzle, which means the pan is hot, which is a good thing. So it's a medium-high heat. And we're probably going to give probably about 20 seconds to each side. You'll notice that the sugars are coming out of the tofu, which is creating caramelization, which is going to give it a good crispness to it. See, it's getting a little bit of changing colors a bit, which you want. So you can leave it on for another minute or 2. And that'll be part 2 of the Buddha bowl. Hi guys, back again. We're going to do step 3 here. So I'm just going to tell you guys all the mise en place that I created for you guys here. It's in the recipe as well. We'll break it all down. So here we're starting off with our legumes, which is a black bean that we're using today. Well, like explained earlier, you can use chickpeas, you can use anything really you want, black-eyed peas, lentils, also our finished jasmine brown rice that we finished here. Like I said too, as well, you can use quinoa, you can use anything that you really want, Udon Noodles, and here we go, we got ribboned carrots, bell peppers that are just julienned, we have celery that's been cut on the bias very thin. We have just cut up julienned zucchini and really fine just asparagus tips, just because we use the tips because they're less woody and they're a little bit more sweet and they break down and they're not as fibrous. And also here is we have a little bit of fresh ginger to top up the Buddha bowl with. We We have sesame seeds. You can use black ones as well. You can toast these as well if you wish. You get a little bit more of a fragrant smell, and it just kind of brings up the dish a bit more. And also too is the tofu that we created here with the marinated garlic chili paste, and we crisp it up and we'll add that on top of it. So that is that. And so once that's all complete, these things are all raw right now. You can, if you feel like, if you want to steam some vegetables, you can do that as well. You can roast some sweet potatoes. You can add steamed bok choy. You can add baby broccoli. It's endless. I mean, really, it's just having 4 or 5 good vegetables, some legumes, some type of a healthy rice, or some type of quinoa, just to give it that little base. And then we're going to show you too is we're going to create our ginger sesame dressing right here. So we're going to do that, and I'll show you the ingredients for that. It's also, all of this is listed in the recipe book as well. So here we go, we got our bowl, and everything's been weighed out to whatever the recipe says on there. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to go with our, let's see how we did this. So first off is our sesame oil, which is going to give us a lot of flavor, and it's very strong and potent. Soy sauce, which are going to give us our saltiness. And all these things can just be put in one bowl, and it just has to be emulsified. If you feel like you don't want to do it this way, you can add it to a jar, close the lid, and all you have to do is shake. And all you're creating is all the fats are coming together with the dressing and emulsifying. So then we got olive oil, and then we have rice wine vinegar as well, which will give it that that sour, tangy taste. And then we got a little bit of Canadian maple syrup. And that's just going to break down the sweetness and kind of not give it so much of a sesame Asian taste. It's going to just give it that sweetness that you want. We're going to use a touch of minced garlic, just a touch. I think it's a teaspoon of garlic that we're using. And also too is we're going to use a teaspoon of fresh ginger, which is really nice. And you can cut your ginger a little bit smaller or bigger depending on how you like to eat it. If you like more of a raw taste to it, then you probably want to cut it a little bit bigger. Smaller, you're not gonna, you're not gonna get that crunch as much. So if you like a little bit more crunchy, you can kind of keep it raw, a little bit more raw, a little bit bigger instead of minced. So that's that. That's the dressing right here. And the last thing, it's optional, but it's sesame paste, which is tahini. And the tahininess gives it obviously its flavor, but it binds the dressing together, which is and it's really creamy tahini because it's sesame sauce. So we're going to add that, and it's just going to give a different look and different flavor to the sauce, which is really nice. So that's that. And so we are going to whisk it gently, and you're going to see it's all going to kind of come together. As you can see, all very flavorful. I wouldn't add any salt because of the soy sauce. I'd kind of just reserve on that. If you feel like you want to have more sodium in it, you can add salt, but that's optional. I'd always like to taste when you're very nice. You got a really nice flavor of the ginger, the sesame, and you can really taste a little bit of the tahini. So that's kind of what you're looking for. I'm just going to add one little quick thing, which is a little bit of black pepper. You can add just a touch, not even just a touch, just to give it a little bit of a bite. And that's it. So now that we have our dressing created, we're going to go ahead and actually put the bowl together. So here we go. We have our lovely Buddha bowl, and then we're going to go ahead and scoop in the rice, our brown rice. You do the brown rice, you want to kind of get a little fluffy. Kind of separate it. You want to add about a cup. I mean, it's optional too, depending on your diet restrictions. You want to kind of do about a cup. So that's that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to start incorporating our vegetables around the bowl, and that's the basis of it all. So we're going to go ahead, and we got a measuring cup of 1/4 cup. So we're going to take that. I'm going to put that right in the middle. kind of build it up a bit. I did some ribbon carrots, put that on the side. You got some nice julienne peppers, and you can lay it out however you want it. I mean, it's endless. And the cool thing about this is if you have kids, they can build it with you. Like I said, it's just things that you have around your house. It's nothing that you have to break the bank on. So I'm just adding the zucchini right now as well. Then I'm going to finish it off here with the asparagus. Okay, beautiful there. Put that aside. And then we're going to add a little bit of fresh ginger. This is optional as well because it is in the dressing as well. But I kind of like that crunch and the rawness from it. Just gives it a different element and like kind of lifts the dish. So I just kind of just spread it around the vegetables lightly. Just a little amount, nothing too crazy. So that's that. And now what we're going to do is add our crisped up tofu. And we're going to place it right in the middle. And tofu is one of those great options. I mean, it's fairly cheap, very economical. And if you marinate it correctly, it can really do the trick. So that's that. And now what we're going to do is we got our dressing that we're going to just kind of emulsify again. Quickly grab a spoon. And you're going to just dress it a bit. It's in a bowl too, so you want to give it a little bit more, kind of so it can reach the bottom of the bowl. And we'll that's that. And then we're going to top it up with fresh green onions. And last but not least, it's just some white sesames. Like I said, you can toast it as well. You can put black sesames. You can add peanuts to it if you want, if you have no allergies. You can add any type of texture you really want to it. And the cool thing about this is you can add tuna, which is ceviche style if you want to use ahi tuna, anything like that. It's such a great optional for anything in the fridge. If you feel like you don't know what you're going to make, a Buddha bowl is your best option. Because you can just look in your fridge, you always have rice, you have a sweet potato, you have lots of vegetables, and you can just throw a dressing on it, which is perfect. And then you're going to top it up with this just to give it a little bit of texture. And voila, that is your Buddha bowl. So, there you go. And I hope you guys enjoy, and and you kind of took something home with this. So there you go. Thank you.